So yesterday I made a video talking about the Knicks trading for Donovan Mitchell, and honestly it was 50-50. A lot of Knicks fans were saying, wait, Donovan Mitchell? Yeah, bring him into New York. But also a lot of Knicks fans were saying, well, if we bring in Donovan Mitchell, it's going to cost a ton, and who are we going to pair with him? Not to mention the fact that can Donovan Mitchell be a number one option on a championship team? Those are for you guys to decide. But what's going on, man? Knicks Daily here. Last game of the year, the Knicks took care of the Toronto Raptors. They honestly finished the season very well. Like, there shouldn't be one Knicks fan complaining about the team, and I know I get comments of that, but like, how can you complain about the Knicks? They went into the season with low expectations. Not many of us expected them to make the playoffs, and they go out there and they don't make the playoffs, but they finished the year strong. They have the fourth most efficient defense in March, and in April, you have the continue of Immanuel Quickley breaking out. You have Obi Toppin in his last 5 games averaging 27 and 6 on 55-46 splits. He dropped 42 tonight, had 10 rebounds and 6 threes. They tried to tell me that increased minutes doesn't lead to production. And for Obi Toppin, he proved that to be wrong because the more minutes Obi gets, the better he plays. And we know that too. You date back to when he played nearly 40 minutes a couple of weeks ago. Ever since then, he's been completely consistent. I mean, Obi was brought to the Knicks to do one thing, and that was to make an impact immediately, and he didn't get the chance to do that. So, and of course, we've been going back and forth about Immanuel Quickley. He had 34, 10, and 12 tonight. He's the youngest Knick ever with a 30-point triple-double. I want to say that 12 assists is a career high. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, I mean, IQ, he came out of Kentucky, of course. I was a big fan of the pick at the time. He gives the Knicks playmaking, he gives the Knicks scoring, and he's also rebounding. He's just doing a little bit of everything. I mean, to this point, I'm not going to be that type of dude that comes up here and is like, this is my channel. Like, you guys got to listen to me. You're not changing my mind. Because that's not who I am. Like, if I say something and I'm proven wrong, I'm going to admit to it. And I think Immanuel Quickley finally proved me wrong. I mean, the last game of the year, this was the last chance for me to make my decision until the offseason. And, like, I'd be a fool. Like, you guys should unsubscribe and not ever watch me again if I were to say that Immanuel Quickley can't be the starting point guard for the Knicks. So, yeah, go down in the comments and be like, I told you so. Like, I'm actually telling you to do that because it would help me grow. And, obviously, we want to get this out to more Knicks fans. But also, a lot of you guys were high on Quickley, man. That's why I always go with the diehard Knicks fans that have been here freaking probably their whole lives. I mean, I've been a Knicks fan since 2010. So, I mean, it's a long time. It's like half my life, but at the same time, I don't live in the city. I live in like a couple of minutes away from New York State. I live in Connecticut, but I get the Knicks and the Nets, but I've always liked the Knicks. Like, I don't like the Nets, and I used to go to Nets games and just root for the other team. I'm like not even kidding about that, but yeah, man, honestly, the Knicks, they don't really need to make a move for a star player this offseason because they have their picks. They have good players to build around. One player that I haven't mentioned, I don't think in like multiple videos, is Cam Reddish because he's hurt and I forgot we even had him. Traded a first round pick for him. Cam, he goes about 6'8". He's one of the best scorers that you'll ever see. And when I say ever see, I'm not saying he's Carmelo Anthony, but just him coming out of college, man, even in high school, there was no one that could guard him. I mean, I remember Anthony Edwards talking about the toughest player he ever had to defend in his life, and he said it was Cam Reddish. So we can't discredit the fact that the Knicks could run out Immanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. I mean, that is a ridiculous starting five. Is that going to win a championship? Is that going to make a deep playoff run? Hell no. You know it and I know it. That's not going to get a championship for the New York Knicks. But in 5 seasons, now we're talking because the Knicks can go out and sign a free agent instead of trading for Donovan Mitchell. And I'm pretty much all in on the fans because, like, if you guys weren't here watching to this point, like, this wouldn't exist. Like, so I'm just going to listen to you guys. Now, I'm not going to always take your side, but I think you're right on this. I think the New York Knicks should go into the offseason and just stay neutral. Hit your draft picks. If you can bring in a Jalen Brunson who is going to get a bag, but I mean, you could do that. I don't really think you even need to this point. I don't know why we would pay Jalen Brunson $20 million a year. I'd rather have Brunson than I would Mitchell Robinson. But also, if we bring in Brunson, like, how does Brunson? I mean, I guess Brunson, RJ, and IQ could all play. But like, what do we do with? You see what I'm saying? It's like the Knicks honestly have found Immanuel Quickley. And they need to realize that now him and RJ are locked up. And remember, we have Evan Fournier, but he's more of a bench player. I know a lot of you guys are saying Fournier is a horrible defender. and he's not. He's like a somewhat consistent shooter, but not really. I mean, he's shooting what 42% from the field at the top of my head, and about 39 from three. I mean, honestly, like I like Evan Fournier, but it's not like I would be completely against getting rid of him. If you can trade him for something, go for it. But what about Julius Randle? The only time we mentioned him in this video so far was the obvious when he wasn't playing the last 5 games, and Obi has been looking like a monster. Well, Julius Randle, correct me if I'm wrong, please. Go down in the comments and let me know if I'm an idiot or if you agree with me. The New York Knicks are a better basketball team without Julius Randle. And I'll go as far as saying that the New York Knicks are a better basketball team without Tom Thibodeau. And let me prove my case to that. How did it take this long for Coach Tibb to understand that the Knicks are better off with Quickley getting run and Obi Toppin getting run and Jericho Sims getting run? Is Coach Thibodeau an amazing defensive coach? Have the Knicks defense impressed me? Yes, and yes. But offensively, the Knicks have looked lost at times and lackluster. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, bro, if you're a Knicks fan, like you've got to go into this offseason and be very happy. I mean, this isn't a team that's going to be winning a championship in the next couple of seasons, but at the end of the day, remember the Knicks kind of went all in with Melo. They threw the kitchen sink out there and failed miserably. I mean, we went to the second round once with Melo ever, I believe, and it was against the Pacers. Yeah, I don't think we ever got out of the first round. We missed the playoffs multiple times. And let me say this, guys, before I get out of here, and I'm sure you guys got things to do, but Donovan Mitchell's not Carmelo Anthony. Donovan Mitchell was breaking records in the playoffs. I mean, he's the only player since 2020 to average over 30 a game in the playoffs since Luka and Durant. Donovan Mitchell is there when it matters most. I'm not saying he's going to lead the Knicks to a championship, but I mean, Carmelo Anthony did one thing and one thing only, and that was score. Melo didn't make anyone better. He wasn't a good defender. I mean, Melo's actually, you guys are going to hate me for this, and Carmelo's one of my favorite players ever, but Melo is one of the most overrated players of all time. I mean, Melo had no business leading the Knicks anywhere, and they did go up against a team like the Heat, who were essentially a super team. I mean, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron. Even LeBron alone, that was prime LeBron James. But the Knicks, they also went out there and they made a trade for Melo, and they could have just signed him in free agency. So, I mean, if Donovan Mitchell was a free agent, which he isn't until 2025, I mean, if like the Knicks could go out and sign Donovan Mitchell, you guys, I don't think anyone would think otherwise. We would go out and do that and pair him with this roster. If you throw Donovan Mitchell on this current Knicks roster, I mean, they're a threat in the East. They're going to be able to take anyone to 7 games. But obviously, we'd have to lose RJ and Quickley maybe and Toppin and Julius Randle, I wouldn't care about, but just for salary purposes. So, yeah, man, the New York Knicks win the last game of the season, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the game. Hopefully you enjoyed the season. And like I said, not like it was an amazing season. We're going home right now, but at least it ended on a positive note. It's your boy Nick Daly signing up. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe. Later.